Today, my friends, we are venturing to the optimistic side with the rose-colored glasses, and we are looking towards the future. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Lombardi Time Brews. I am your host, John Delray. That's right, today we have very little to talk about. This is the Packers mini-bye, coming off of, that game against the Titans that we don't want to talk about anymore. But looking ahead to the future, whether these games matter or not, most metrics, depending on their algorithm and all that stuff, have the Packers at approximately a 6% chance to make the playoffs. So yes, there is still a chance. There's something. Yeah, it's a chance, but not a big one. So today I wanted to talk about who are the players that over this last stretch of games, maybe not this coming week, just over the next stretch of games, who are the guys that I want to watch for various reasons. Maybe they have an importance in the future. Maybe I just like watching them play and there's not all that much time left. Who knows? But I'm going to go through. I got 7 of them listed here. Going to talk about who those players are and why. Before I get to that, though, quick, just no real updates about the team at all today. Not even really any signings to tell you about. Things are very quiet in Packerland right now. Matt LaFleur himself does not give a press conference, I believe, until Wednesday, if I looked at the media schedule correctly. This is off time. This is their mini bye coming off of a Thursday game. So we will not have much in the way of Packer news or even injury updates or anything like that until later this week. So, good time for this today. Now, I'm just going to breeze right through these. Today's not, like I said, this isn't super number heavy. This isn't even, all that fact-based, which sounds just kind of gross to say. But, these are the guys for various reasons that I want to see. And number 1, I lumped in a couple. Yeah, I'm cheating already. It's my list. It's my channel. It's my rules. Number 1, the young wide receivers. Yeah, Christian Watson doing what he does now. Now, finally, Christian Watson is healthy and doing what he does. Now get Romeo Doubs back. If he can come back soon, we're actually going to see what was supposed to be there with Doubs and Christian Watson together. Now sprinkling in a little bit of Samori Toure, who LaFleur admitted after the Titans game we have to give him more chances. Yeah, again, just like Aaron Jones earlier in the year, that's up to you, Matt. Do the thing you want to have happen. But Toure, Watson, Doubs, the future of this wide receiver position, supreme athleticism. Will there be bumps and bruises? Oh, 100%. Are there already? Yeah, totally. But you could just see it. Watson is developing into a touchdown superstar before our very eyes. And, honestly, the thing that I want to see from Watson most is if you look over these last 2 games, these big breakout games, very touchdown heavy, very big play heavy, I want to see him at least once before the end of the year turn in a truly complete game. And what I mean by that is a high reception count, high target count, one of those 10 catch, 120 yard. I don't need him to be getting 30 yards per catch like he's doing. I guess I want to see one non-MVS stat line is I guess what I'm trying to say. And he's not MVS. I'm just saying pure numbers to comparing bases. But I want to see him turn in one of those 10 catch, 120 yard, 1 touchdown games. Just a complete wide receiver performance. Pair that with Doubs and Toure. Let Toure be the big play guy that's going to get 30 yards a catch, whatever. But I want to see all of them together. I want to see what this offense can be with all of them together. And quite possibly a very, very large preview of the future of the wide receiver position. Next up, I'm going to pair that with another offensive specialist, Josiah DeGuara. DeGuara has, he's been kind of limited in his snap counts. They're still obviously giving a lot of weight to Tunyon, as they should be. Tunyon has been performing admirably coming off of his ACL injury. Mercedes Lewis still has his role, obviously. But Josiah DeGuara has earned chances. He's played very well. For almost every game this year, he's in the top half of Packers offensive players on PFF grading. It's time. It's time for Josiah DeGuara to get more chances. He's been blocking incredibly well, both out of the tight end spot and when they put him at the fullback or H-back position. I want to see more flexibility. He is still a part of the future of this team. He's still under contract into the future. You cannot say that about Robert Tunyon. And Mercedes Lewis is obviously very year to year. DeGuara is the one guy you got. That's the definitive future of the tight end position. I want to see him play more and more. Give him a chance to develop into the tight end of the future. Next, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go special teams. Yeah, that's right. I want to see a specialist. New practice squad signee, D.D. Westbrook. That's right, the former Oklahoma Sooner. Used to be when he was running around when he was young down in Jacksonville over his 23, 24, 25 age type season. Honestly, he was one of my favorite wide receivers to use in Madden. I don't know why. He just killed it in Madden. And I was excited when I saw that the Packers signed him to the practice squad. He has a lot of punt return, at the very least experience. He's never been a complete game breaker there, but, anything competent is an upgrade for the Packers at this point. But he's got 3 seasons of at least 19 punt returns early in his career before he really kind of got riddled with injuries and just kind of fell out of Jacksonville. And I know that there were, at least early in his career, some character concerns, especially coming out of college. But this is a guy who earlier in his career had 2 60-catch seasons for Jacksonville. And it's not like Jacksonville was lighting it up. This is a guy who realistically could do some things to help. And the Packers obviously have a very large vacancy at punt returner. Keyshawn Nixon has done a pretty good job at kick returner. I think some Packer fans overestimate the job that he's done, surely because it's not just bereft incompetence. But he's done pretty well as a kick returner. To be totally frank, and this is just my personal opinion, I haven't loved the job he's done as a punt returner. Is it a spark over Amari? Yeah, totally. But at the same time, in the 2 games that he's been the punt returner, there has been at least 1 punt each game that he didn't fumble, but holy crap, was that not the technique that you use? And I don't think he's the long-term solution at punt returner. Maybe D.D. Westbrook is, and if he can give you a little something as a wide receiver too, congratulations, you've already got more on your investment than you did from Amari Rodgers. And again, that's not to bash Amari, it's just true at this point. Next up, moving right on down the list. Next up, on the defensive side of the ball, I got a couple. Devontae Wyatt. Yeah, I mean, his snap count been kind of up and down throughout the year, and he's had a couple illnesses. I remember earlier in the year he missed at least a few practices due to personal reasons. But this is a guy who's shown some quality flashes, and he did earlier in the year too. At this point in the season, he is a first-round pick. Like, you invested in him heavily, a first-round pick. And he was a 24-year-old coming out of college. This wasn't Kenny Clark when he was 20. This wasn't a guy that you picked thinking like, oh yeah, he's going to need some time to get the strength under him. His body isn't developed yet because his ceiling is just so high, we got to take him. Like, no, Devontae Wyatt was 24 years old. I'm not going to say a finished product, but a more mature body than most rookies would be. And you've played him pretty sparingly. Not enough. And at this point, he's kind of a great mystery. He's done some nice things. He's gotten bowled over a few times, but really there's not enough snaps there to put out a true judgment. And if you are this far into the season with this bad of a record, and you don't even know what your first round pick looks like, that's pretty damning. The only problem is we don't know if it's damning on him as the player or the coaching staff for never putting him in. So over these last games, yes, I want to see Devontae Wyatt. I want to see why you can justify using a first-round pick on him. I want to see what the thinking was. I want to see what the traits are. Get him on the field. I want to see it. I don't think it's too much to ask. Come on now. Next up, another defensive player. Kingsley Enagbare. I mean, the guy, he's filling in for Rashawn Gary. He's not Rashawn Gary. Like, let's not even go there. And he needs to add strength. He needs to add some weight. Okay, but he's got some flash. I mean, you see the pass rush tools. Occasionally, he's made a good stop in the run game, but I would argue that that's one place you certainly want him to improve in the remainder of the season. Because this is one guy, like everyone else, I've had to ask, or, Watson, we're going to see a bunch. But other guys on this list, it's like, come on, get him on the field. Not this rookie. He's going to be on the field a lot. A lot. Because of Rashawn Gary's absence. And this is the perfect chance for him to lay an absolute claim on edge rusher 3. Coming into this year, there were questions about, is it going to be Garvin? Is Enagbare going to be ready? What about Tipa? It was just kind of this mess of like, kind of like the safety spot, kind of like other depth spots on this team. That was like, who's going to step up and take the definitive number 1 backup? Well, at this point, this rookie has done so. And he truly, over this last stretch of the season, over the last 6 games of the season, can put a stronghold on that spot for next year and truly make edge no longer a need. But he has to continue developing. Over the offseason, we're going to see him probably put on some strength, put on some weight, and that is really the ingredient for what could be a special player. We're already seeing it frequently enough to where he can kind of get the special label, the high ceiling potential label, not just a guy. With especially being a day 3 pick, that is fantastic. That is a fantastic outlook for the Green Bay Packers. Moving on from that, the next one here is more of an appreciation. And I mentioned this the other day too, but I'm going to lump 2 in here together, and that's Mason Crosby and Randall Cobb. You know what? Let's add a third one too. This is just off the top of my head. I want to add in Mercedes Lewis as well. These are 3 guys. Look, I mean, yeah, we could talk about Aaron Rodgers. We don't know what his future holds. We don't know if he'll be back another year or 2 years or 5 years. Who the hell knows at this point? But we do know Aaron Rodgers, if he hangs it up or whatever, he's going to get a ton of episodes dedicated solely to him. These 3 guys may also have their time in Green Bay done. They're not getting the same treatment. I mean, nor really should they, but these guys have been heavy contributors. Mason Crosby going all the way back. The steadiness at kicker that he has provided, especially from where we came from, with who the kickers were before, to then get to Mason Crosby, who has been so steady for 15 years. The Silver Fox himself, Mr. Automatic Mason Crosby. And then you've got Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb, who just kind of went on vacation for a couple of years there. Dallas, Houston, we don't need to talk about those places. But then he came home. And, he still has that spark. Or Randall Cobb has that juice to go along with the TikTok fad of a couple months ago. He's also a guy that has been the epitome of class and professionalism and upholding the Packers standard every minute that he's been in Green Bay. Maybe we get more time out of these guys. Maybe this is it. But I know for at least these guys, Mercedes on a smaller level, but then Randall Cobb and Mason Crosby, I'm really going to enjoy and relish what time there is left. Maybe it's more years. Maybe not. We don't know. But these are 2 massive contributors who deserve a beautiful farewell from Green Bay if this is it. Or whenever the time is, they deserve it. And the last one that I'm going to talk about, and this is the one that may ruffle some feathers, and yeah, by all means, that's just fine, and I'm not calling it for it this week against Philadelphia, but what I am saying is when the season is over, meaning you are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, yes, I want to see Jordan Love. Yeah, I do. Look, this is a guy who has made improvements. You can choose to see it or not, but understand that it is a choice. Whether you're going to acknowledge his progress, and saying that I want to see Jordan Love play quarterback is not at all an indictment on Aaron Rodgers. What it is quite possibly a window into the future, whether you want it to be or not. But Jordan Love has an incredibly strong arm. Last year, in that one performance that he had against Kansas City, he got screwed. I was saying that during the game and will contend to it since. He got screwed by the coaching staff in that game. They did not give any help to a guy making his first career start. But then the preseason, and Love even acknowledged it in an interview just a couple of weeks ago, saying that he is a different guy this year. Year 3, the game is slowing down. He understands the concepts more. We knew when he was picked, and this is very conveniently glossed over by people who just want to trash the pick without understanding it, that Jordan Love was a developmental prospect. But all of the tools were there, so you make the pick. And you can hate that pick, you can love that pick, it doesn't matter. They made it. And they made it for a reason. And he was always going to be a bit of a project. Well, now here we are in year 3. He's got a cannon. And if he plays at any time between now and the end of the regular season, and we get to see Jordan Love under center, or shotgun, because that's what they like calling, with Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Samori Toure, future, quite possibly the future of your Green Bay Packers will be on the field. And if Rodgers decides to hang it up at the end of this year, Jordan Love's probably quarterback next year. Like, I don't see them going out and getting a different veteran. I don't see them doing Jordan Love's the guy. And as long as Aaron Rodgers has the potential of retiring this offseason, don't you have to see what you have in Jordan Love from regular game action? Yeah, you have to. Not to mention the fact that they need to make a decision on whether to pick up his 5th-year option or not. And again, you need to see it. And sure, yes, they have seen him in practice for years. They have seen him run the scout team. They have seen... It's not the same. It's not. Parallels will always be drawn to by these two, compared in these two, but go back and look at Aaron Rodgers as a young one. As a young QB, navigating his stuff, constantly being injured. He needed live game action. He needed just a couple of games to show, hey, there's still stuff to work on, but he has the ability to at least carry the mantle and keep it going. Jordan Love has not had that chance. He does have tremendous physical tools. Decision-making, accuracy, sure. Those are the things that he is still working on as a young quarterback should. But yeah, I want to see him. I do. I think it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. See Jordan Love chucking it around with Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. Samori Toure and DeGuara and the running backs. I mean, that's fun. I think it's going to be a hell of a time, no matter how it goes. And in a season that is mathematically lost, or we're almost there, you might as well start looking to the future. And even if Rodgers comes back next year, so what? You're going to hope to contend next year, right? So if Rodgers comes back next year, sweet, Love goes back to the bench, but you're more informed about that year 5 that Jordan Love may have. Because next year, even if Rodgers comes back, that's still only year 4 for Love. And I'm very hard-pressed to believe that Rodgers is going to play this year, next, and one more to take us all the way to the end of Jordan Love's contract. So eventually you've got to get informed on how to make the decision, right? And why would you not do it? If Aaron Rodgers has a busted up thumb and you're mathematically eliminated from the postseason, whether you know Rodgers is coming back or not, or it's a question, whatever, you got to evaluate what your potential future is. And might as well have a hell of a lot of fun while doing it. You know, the Packers are on the cusp of being out. And I'm not giving up hope, but everyone should always be realistic, right? 6% roughly, depending on the metric, chance of making the playoffs yet. Let's have some fun. Look to the future. That's it for Lombardi Time Brews today. I do hope you enjoyed this episode of who we would like to see over the last few weeks. Now, I will be back on Wednesday. We'll see if there's any updates to be done on Wednesday. And then Friday certainly will be the game preview for the Green Bay Packers to go against the Philadelphia Eagles. So, I do have some travel coming up later this week for Thanksgiving. If the schedule needs to get modified, I will put out a post on the YouTube channel. I will tweet. I will put something out on Facebook as well. So no matter what medium you follow Lombardi Time Brews on, you can get the information there. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you had a great day. That's the words I'm looking for. And as always, go Pack Go.